What's up, guys? Okay, so this is part 3 of the rebuild or restoration, you want to call it, of the rear suspension. I did have a different video for this intro, but something happened to it. I don't know what happened to it. So I couldn't use it. So I'm using this instead. So basically, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to put in the subframe. I gotta put the subframe bushings inside the subframe first. Just make sure you lube those up and stuff like that. But yeah, so that's the first thing I'm gonna do, and then you'll see the rest of the video of me talking about it. But yeah, just sit back, relax, and enjoy the video.
Devil in a red dress, call 911, I'm a killer. You know I hate to confess. Bang bang, got my hand on the trigger. The devil in a red dress, call 911, I'm a killer. You know I hate to confess. Bang bang, got my hand, bang got my hand, call.
Okay, so this bolt right here, I put to 84 foot-pounds, and these two bolts here, I put them, they're actually a little bit past, I looked on the forums, it said 25 foot-pounds, but I put it a little bit more than that. I did that on both sides. But it looks really good in here, so now I just gotta move on to the control arms and go on from there. Okay, so now I'm gonna do the control arm. Same process as before, and basically subframe. I just need to put the bushings in here, make sure you use lots of grease, and then you're gonna put your two bolts in, which you have two toe bolts as well, so you gotta make sure you line those correctly when you put it in. But other than that, it's basically the same thing. Okay, so we got the control arm in, or the right side in. Just make sure that so these right here are your toe bolts. You got to make sure that you either put them all the way up on both sides or all the way down on both sides. So in that little bracket thing around it, that's all your toe. So it's how you adjust your toe. This bolt is just a regular bolt, and then it has a washer on one side. Yeah, so this is all in. I just put this bottom bracket on, as you can see. On the bottom of the brackets, it does say right or left, so you know which side it goes onto. I'm just gonna get my spring seats and my spring now. I have brand new spring seats from Nissan. I don't know if I showed you guys this already, but basically they're right here. They're straight up from Nissan, brand new ones. This is what the old ones look like. This one's broken in half, so I got brand new ones. So I'm gonna put these on and then finish buttoning up that right side, and then I'll show you after I'm done. All right, before I do this too, the spring seats, basically this one's the bottom one, you can tell because of that kind of like raindrop type of thing, or like teardrop that it looks like shape, or egg shape, whatever you want to call it. It fits perfectly just like that. So just make sure that's on correctly like that. And then the top spring seat, basically there's a groove where the spring sets in, so just make sure that's on correctly. And then when you put it on, the same thing, where this point is right here, will go exactly where that is right there. So just make sure you put it on correctly when you're putting everything together. But I'm gonna put this all on now, and then I'll get back. So left side control arm is in. Just make sure you put your bolts in through that way. And then, like I said, your toe bolt, just make sure that's correct. And then that bolt right there. And then I have everything tight, but not like as tight as I want it yet. I just kind of put everything in there just for right now, just to get everything settled in. I'm gonna do the left side of the car now, and then we'll go on to probably putting on all the brake stuff. Okay, so I just got the left side in. Everything went in pretty good, exactly how it's supposed to. So now I think I'm gonna put my rotors and calipers on, and then I'm going to probably do my e-brake, and then I'll work on the diff, because the diff still needs to be worked on. But she's coming back together, so, and it looks really, really good. With all the new hardware and all it painted black, man, it looks so good. All right, time to put the calipers on. Okay, so I got the caliper on. Basically, it's just 4 bolts. And then it goes right on. Then make sure you connect your line and tighten your line down. And then, yeah, then everything's all back together on this side, basically. So now I'm gonna repeat this process on the other side, and I'll actually film the other side of me putting this on.
Devil in a red dress, call 911, I'm a killer. You know I hate to confess. Bang bang, got my hand on the trigger. The devil in a red dress, call 911, I'm a killer.
Okay, so I got both sides done. The caliper on. I snugged down all the bolts. They're not completely tight. I'm gonna go through and retighten every single bolt on here. I'll probably end up doing that tomorrow. But everything's looking good. Everything's going on perfectly. All the bolts are lining up perfectly. All the hardware looks so good. I mean, it's just, man, it's coming together so well. All right, so now basically we just have to keep going on. All we have left now is the diff, and then the e-brake situation, the exhaust, and then all this is done. And then after I'm done with all that, then I'm gonna jack both the front end of the car up so I can get to the transmission. And then the transmission, I'm gonna put the transmission mount that I have, which is right there, on. And I'm also gonna clean up the transmission or the housing as well. So stay tuned. All right, so here's a little update. I forgot to pick up the camera, but I installed the sway bar, brand new bushing, with both bolts. It's greased as well. Same thing right here, all brand new. Also, I put in my e-brake. I didn't attach it yet. It's still loose over here, but I put the clip in and got it connected here, and then got it all connected back here again. to the brake caliper. Also, I put that piece back in, little shield, put this bracket back in. I cleaned them up really well. Here's the other side, and then e-brake. I also got the diff all painted finally. So the diff is all nice and painted black. Only thing I need to do now is when I take this cover off, just take off all that old gaskets on there. It's stuck on there really bad, so I gotta take that off. Fill this with fluid and then do RTV around it, and then this will be good to go back in. When I emptied the fluid out of here, there was literally almost no fluid in there. So, which makes sense because all this was all covered with nasty, you know, grease and oil stains and stuff like that, and dirt caked on it. So, that gasket, whoever owned this before, that gasket was really bad. But I'm gonna refill it with all brand new fluids, so it's gonna have 2 quarts in there, and yeah, it should feel a lot better, especially with it not having fluids before, which is crazy. It actually has 2 quarts of oil in there, unlike before when it barely even had a quarter of a quart, which is super bad. Whatever the last owner was, didn't really take care of this car. Now we use RTV for the sealant and no longer this crappy cork gasket. This stuff was stuck on there so bad. So RTV it and then seal it with all my new bolts, and then we're gonna install it. All right, so I got all the ultra gray on there. That's the stuff that I use. I've used it on all my diffs and it works pretty good. Pretty good thick coat on there. Make sure this stuff doesn't leak, and I'm gonna put on the diff cover now. Okay, so all the bolts are back on. I put them all at 19 foot-pounds of torque. Cleaned up all the gray RTV around it, and now I'm gonna put the diff mount box on it and then put it in the car. Okay, so I got the mount on. Yeah, just tighten everything down except for the box part of it, so you have some wiggle room to get them into the bolts on the top of the of where that actually when you put this underneath the car. And yeah, so I'm gonna put the diff in right now because it's all set and ready to go, and then once we're done with that, we'll be getting close. Okay, so I'm gonna end this video here. Technically this is supposed to be one full video. It's supposed to be part 3, but it was too long for YouTube, so I couldn't upload it. So I had to break this up to two different videos. So it's gonna be part 3 and part 4. So I'm ending this video here. Hopefully you guys liked the content you saw and stuff like that. Make sure you like and subscribe, help out my channel out. I should be getting the 4th one out within a day or 2. So, or maybe in the same day. I'm gonna be working on it right now. And yeah, the 300ZX suspension part of it, or the rear end, is all complete. But you'll see that finishing up in the 4th video. And yeah, hope you guys have a good day, and we'll see you in the next one.